We all knew if we did this right, we would forever change the trajectory of women's sports, period.
Yeah.
And to your first question, we never thought that we would fail. We just built the club the way that we wanted to experience it.
My guest today is Julie Uhrman, co-founder of Angel City, the groundbreaking NWSL club in LA, where she served as CEO until transitioning into principal advisor earlier this year. Under Julie's leadership, Angel City became the most valuable women's soccer club in the world, cementing Julie as one of the most influential voices in all of women's sports. She's also been a personal mentor to me and a friend throughout my time building Just Women's Sports. Today, I'm excited to get to talk to her about her journey building in this industry and where she thinks women's sports still need to grow.
Julie, welcome to the Playbook.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining. Hair and makeup feel good?
I feel fantastic. I
Okay,
wish I was doing
good.
something special tonight.
Julie, I feel like everyone knows the Angel City founding story. I want to start, though, at the beginning and kind of talk about those early days. You guys made a splash before you ever played a single game. You came into the league really hot, really loud, a lot of energy. I think some people thought that was really innovative and exciting. Maybe some people thought that was obnoxious. Can you talk a little bit about that approach, how you thought about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the most common thing we heard when we were raising was that's not what women's sports is. It's not loud. It's not entertaining. It's not exciting. It's women's sports is a family-friendly product. I don't take such offense to it only because that's the way women's sports was treated, right? It was, how inexpensive can you make a ticket because you want to get people in there? You want to get young girls. That was the primary target market. So then it has to be family friendly if you want to get young girls to come. And then maybe it grew a little bit to girl dads and young girls, but it was still very much the same demographic. And the level of care, attention, and most importantly, investment that was put into women's sports wasn't at a level that was significant enough to grow an audience, to change an audience, or to change your opinion on what that product was. In the boardroom, definitely ruffled feathers because we said we were going to do things.
Yeah.
And we hadn't done them yet. So imagine if you were owner of a team for 3 years, 5 years, 8 years, and here comes Julie Uhrman, who has very little filter and says, we're going to do these things and these things are going to drive sold out games and we're going to drive $20, $30 million in sponsorship revenue. And they, in some ways like took offense to that. It's like, okay, and we heard a lot of like, good luck. Like, this is great, but you've never sold a ticket.
Right.
Like, try to sell a ticket. Like, live in the world that we've been in. And it was fair because we said we were going to do things. But I think it very clearly, we proved that every single thing we said we were going to do, we not only achieved, but we achieved much more than we promised.
When you were making these big, like, hey, we're going to go do these really big, ambitious things that had never been done in women's sports, was there any like fear in there? Or was it all just, this is going to happen, we're going to make it happen, like, no doubt?
You can't achieve your vision if you're ever worried about failing.
Yeah.
You can't. So for us, it was, we are going to sell out that first game. We are going to drive the greatest revenue. We are going to build a brand. We are going to build a community that cares as much about winning as they do about the impact that we have. We never, ever had a conversation like, what happens if? Ever, never, ever. And the reason I think we felt so confident is because we were so intentional about the steps we were taking. It wasn't like we made a bet and hoped that it would have a ripple effect, here, and here. It was like, no, we're going to make a bet here and here and here and here. So we were really intentional about what we did and the result of that, and then made 5 bets and said, okay, we're going to have 5 results. And yes, maybe the total will be greater than the individual pieces. But if it's not, those individual pieces are still going to add up really nicely.
Yeah. You were making big bets, but you're putting big resources. Is that fair to say?
And the part that's like, the funny part is that we weren't reinventing anything. We weren't building anything for the first time. We weren't doing anything for the first time per se. Now, we were in women's sports and we certainly were in women's football, but building a great game day experience exists in men's sports. For every single for a midweek regular season Lakers game, you are entertained.
Right. You're saying there's a playbook that you guys applied to Angel City in a very real way. Is that
Absolutely.
fair to say?
And, obviously we would adjust it for women's sports and we would adjust it for our audience and we'd adjust it for our values. But when Karen, Natalie, and I sat down, very early on, we said, we want to build an experience that we want to go to, right? And Natalie has the experience of premieres, launches of her like
Star
clothing lines,
Wars
and Dior, like she knows what like a big event is.
Totally.
You know, Kara and I are massive sports fans. She went to the World Cup in 2015. You know, she's gone to Super Bowls. You know, I'm a huge USC fan. I know what like great college football. There's almost no better sports product than a massive rivalry in college football. There's nothing like a USC UCLA game or Ohio State Michigan game, right? So like we know what great sporting events feel like. It's the ones that you talk about after the event, right? The ones that you want to go to and bring your kids to. So we wanted to create Angel City to be an experience that we wanted to go to and that people would talk about when they left. And if you weren't there, you had an insane amount of FOMO.
Yeah, you wanted to go. You heard about it. What's super interesting about what you just said is we often talk at Just Women's Sports about how you need to treat women's sports like sports, which I feel like is exactly what you're saying, which is you're saying, hey, there's a way to do sports really right. And it's going to look a little different because the athletes are different and the fan base is different, but let's apply that playbook in a very real, full resources way and look at what can happen.
To your point, there's things that are different, right? So, you know, if you look at women's sports, fashion is really important to our athletes, like the way they dress. And like there is a whole opportunity there to lean into the players and their identity and into their brands and how that can leverage and grow the sport, which obviously can pay dividends for a club if you're thoughtful about sponsorship and partnership. So there are ways that you can extend what happens, but there is a baseline. How do I build a great entertaining product that shouldn't matter if it's men's or women's, if it's football or basketball or baseball or hockey?
But I think in some ways you even saying like, then we look at the players and we think about what's unique to them and the audience and we really pull that thread. Even that to me is like, that's the playbook, right? And it looks a little different depending on the sport or the league. Is it college? Is it professional? But like, that's the playbook. Pay attention, see what's resonating with fans and do it really big and do it really well. And I feel like you guys have done that. Before you guys had a single player, you had already built a marketing machine. You had the celebrity ownership. You mentioned some of them. For any expansion team, you both have to build a really competitive team on the field, a competitive product, and a compelling brand. Did you ever think about those two things in tension? What did you think was more of a priority? How do you think about that?
We prioritized brand and community because we had such a long run up until we kicked a ball.
What
Right?
was the
We had
run-up
nearly
again?
2 years.
Yeah.
So we focused on building a brand, building a community, and instilling what our values are so fans would know who we are and why we exist, and then hopefully want to be a part of us. We were also really intentional about making sure that that brand was global from day one. We never wanted to be seen as a team in a city. If you're a team in a city, you're literally limited by the location of your club and by your local fan base. And you know, you look at teams like Liverpool, where the common stat is only 1% of their fans have ever been to a game, right? Or you hear the anecdotal stories about the New York Yankees hats or the LA Dodgers hats being worn all around the world, and people that are wearing their hats have probably never even been to a game, let alone maybe even seen a game in some markets. But if you can get to that level of global brand, of recognition, of awareness and attention, what that means is you now have the ability to monetize that, drive revenue, and in our case, use that revenue to drive impact. We were really intentional about that. And for us, that meant telling our story, not just in LA, not just in sports press, but in pop culture, in venture capital, in technology, right? In entertainment. We wanted to have a story for everyone. And part of that was being intentional about our audience. We wanted to build a product for everyone. We did not want to be just for kids or just the LGBTQ community or just for families. They're important parts of our demographic, but we felt that was really limiting to women's sports. When you watch the Olympics or the World Cup, they talk about the diversity of the audience. Well, they don't go away. It's just that your product doesn't cater to them.
Right.
So change your product because you know that audience will come. 52% of our fans are women. 48% are not. Like, that's actually massive, right? And so we were very intentional about that. We also knew that if we built a team where winning and losing it is all that matters, especially in Los Angeles, we were hosed, right? Because LA fans are fickle fans. It's a melting pot. Fans come from everywhere. It's not like you grow up and I, am an Angel City fan forever. We're hoping to achieve that. But obviously as an expansion team, that doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
But if they only care about winning and losing, like they're not going to show up. When the Lakers are losing in the fourth quarter, how many people are left by the end? We don't have that same level of like hardcore fandom. So you have to care about more. You have to care about the players. You have to have a great experience. You have to care about why we exist and knowing that your investment in the club, your participation in the club actually has bigger meaning. And for us, that's driving towards equity and driving towards impact in our community. So those things are really important. They're also within our control. It's within our control to build a brand. It's within our control to build an audience. It's within our control to give back. On the player side, players have contracts. Like there are rules with when we can talk to them. So we had to sort of prioritize building the club and the brand and the community before the players. I'm often asked, like, what is the one thing you would have done differently? Or what is the one thing that you would what mistake that you made? And for me, it was, we should have started sporting sooner. Like actually spent time on, what's our strategy? What's our philosophy? Who are the players that we would want to have that fit that? Even if we can't get them, but it starts to build a learning and sort of a DNA for the club. But expansion teams are hard. And so who knows what would happen. It's really hard to do both at the same time. You're seeing more and more expansion teams join the NWSL specifically with very short runways. And what, Boston and Denver have done have been exceptional. They've done a really good job of building a brand and building community. Do I think they could have done more with more time? Absolutely. And they're going to, they have trade-offs they have to make because they have such a short runway.
Yeah.
We didn't have to make those sort of trade-off decisions because we had more time.
Yeah. Okay. There's a lot in there I want to double click on. The first thing is you said your audience is almost 50-50 men, women. And we say this a lot at Just Women's Sports, that women's sports is bigger than any one gender. And that's like said with sort of love and a belief in how big this can be, that of course women are going to be a really big part of the demographic, but this is huge. And just like Olympic sports or college football, it's people are going to look and be different who get excited about this. And this should be a space for all of it. It's interesting hearing you say that though, too, because I think of you guys as very female first. It is interesting to hear that your audience is almost 50-50. Was that surprising for you?
Anytime something you believe comes true, sometimes it's surprising, but we knew the audience was bigger. And we want this generation of young boys to watch sports genderless. They want to watch exceptional athletes play. And it shouldn't matter if it's a women's team or a men's team. They shouldn't be changing channels. And Natalie talked about this a lot with his son. Like he would watch Messi play and Mbappe play, but he also loved watching Megan Rapinoe play and Alex Morgan play. To him, they were just great athletes.
It was athletes competing at the highest level. That was exciting.
Yeah. And exceptional athletes at that.
Yeah.
And so that was our thesis, that a great product should drive any sports fan. A lot of people talk about Caitlin Clark and Caitlin Clark's contribution to women's sports and specifically WNBA and the growth that they've seen in the last 5 years. The knock that the WNBA typically had was it's not as exciting as men's basketball. They can't dunk. Like that was the only definer. Like women can't, Lisa Leslie can dunk. Women can't dunk, therefore it's not as exciting as a product, right? Then you see Caitlin Clark come out shooting 3-pointers from a place on the court that no man attempts consistently. So now men are tuning in and thinking, oh my God, like she's exceptional. And now I'm watching the sport. They are great. And now I'm going to continue to watch it. We just knew that would be the case from the beginning if we built the product in the right way.
I mean, I think that's been a benefit that NWSL has had because there isn't a great men's soccer culture in the US. And so, to kind of say the least. And I think the NWSL had this opportunity to build its own identity. Angel City had this opportunity to build their own identity. The W, the last few years, has built a separate identity from the NBA. And I think that was really critical and important because as long as women's sports exist in the category of men's sports, there's always going to be these comparisons that I don't think do anyone any good. But when it's separate and it can be its own thing and it's cool and it's exciting and these athletes are just great athletes, that's the opportunity. And I think you guys, you did that with Angel City. You guys became the soccer club in LA. And there's been men's soccer here for years.
But we were, again, intentional about leading with our values. There's a lot to do in Los Angeles. Everything you do with your free time is a choice. And we talk about our most valuable commodity today is time. So we want you to choose Angel City because your friends are going to be there, because you're going to watch the best athletes, because you're going to have a good time, because you're going to have a great story to talk about it. And that doesn't just happen. Like it doesn't just happen. You have to be intentional about who you recruit on your team. Are they reflective of our community? Are they representative of our community? Are they the best that we can possibly get? Will they help us win? But then also, am I sitting next to people that I enjoy? Like we were intentional day one about making sure that you could sit with your friends and it wasn't first come, first serve, right? And so how do you create the best experience and make it so that it's not a choice, it's a given that I'm going to go to an Angel City match.
Angel City and San Diego started playing in the same year. They made a different choice than you guys. They invested more in the sporting product, more on the field. Their first year, they made it to the playoffs. You guys struggled early, respectfully, but they sort of made a different choice, right? They invested more on the on-field product, but for them, the on-field product was great. They were winning, and they had a ton of people showing up that led to a community there. For years, I was always bothering you that Angel City needed to start winning because LA fans are fickle, to your point. Is there something there? Like, you're now a couple years past the launch, right? Like, you sort of saw both sides of this, of having better seasons and worse seasons. Like, do you think at some point, like, how long do you have before a team has to start winning, or does it just not matter?
It matters.
It matters.
And we need to start winning. Look, winning makes everything easier. Let's start there. Attendance is higher when you're winning. Sponsors are more interested when you're winning.
It's that correlated.
Sure. You know, the NWSL maybe wants to put more of your games on primetime because you get to watch stars play. Like, all of those things matter. And as a fan, you want to gloat
it's
about
fun to win.
Yeah. You care about winning. When you win, when you have the best players, when you have the best coaches, it attracts other players, right? So you have this ability to start creating a dynasty, right? For your club. It matters. It's hard. The NWSL is hard. It's the salary cap is challenging. The rules are challenging. The no trade clause makes it challenging. And look, it's not specific to us. Everybody lives within that world, and you can see teams that are living within that world and doing exceptionally well. Being new is hard because you don't have a stockpile of allocation money that you can leverage and use. So you really do have to get it right. And San Diego definitely got it more right than we did. But it's a process. I always remember Paige Nielsen, unfortunately, was injured our first year. And so when I'd go up to practice, she and I would talk a lot, and she'd been around in the league for a long time. And I always talk about how anxious I am about winning. And she'd always try to like settle me down. She said, Julie, it takes 3 years. It takes 3 years. It takes time to build the chemistry, to build the identity, to get the right pieces. She goes, it just takes time. And I would always say, not for us. And it's year 5, and she's right. But I feel like maybe it's taken this long to really realize like who we want to be and what is attractive football for Angel City and attractive for our fans. You can't just rely on winning to drive everything, because the fans, again, they want an experience. They want to feel that their time is valued. They want something to talk about. You have to do both.
How long do you feel like you guys have before Angel City has to be like a powerhouse in the league?
I mean, we're in the minus time right now. We talked about really building this year and winning next year because, again, we've brought a new coach. We have a new leadership under Mark Parsons. And like I said, a pretty much new roster. But I think we're on the right path. And I wouldn't be surprised if we're competing for the top of the table next year and, winning the whole thing in the next year or two. We're taking the steps. I mean, I always say that, but I actually believe we're taking the steps, and we have the right player mentality. We have the right chemistry. We have the right ownership. We have the right leadership. That it's coming.
When you've talked about like, what's the soccer culture you want to build? How do you want Angel City to show up on the field? Is that a decision you make? Is the decision to hire someone you really believe in that can sort of set that North Star? How do you actually like make that happen?
It starts at the ownership level.
It does.
When Mark Parsons joined, he sat Will and I down and said, what's important to you? Like, what do you want to see on the pitch? We told Mark like what was important to us and what we believe this identity of this club should be, and what our fans want. They want a lot of goals. Like, we want exciting football. We want controlling football. We want a lot of goals. And so he took that and created a playing style and philosophy that supports that. And now we're bringing in the pieces that support that.
You know what's interesting? You guys brought in Kristen Press as your first player. When I think of how Angel City wants to play, I think of how Press plays. It's on the ground. She's so technically gifted, a great 1v1 player. Is that how you guys want to play? Is that like the North Star?
Yeah, it would have been incredible. And like that's where everything's unpredictable, right? You talk about the success that San Diego had year 1. Their first pick was Alex Morgan. She did not get injured, right? Our first pick is Kristen Press. I think it was in the 4th game she got injured, and we didn't have her for 2.5 years. We were unfortunate our first year with injuries. Paige didn't play. Sarah Gordon didn't play. Kristen Press didn't play.
She was playing so well that year.
She was playing so well. And so, there's a lot of factors that go into
Totally.
it.
It's super interesting. We talk a lot about celebrity investors, ownership, the marketing. There's obviously a lot more that goes into running a team. Talking more about front office culture, what are some things that you found the most interesting, challenging, difficult that you don't really typically talk about?
The leadership team at Angel City was exceptional.
Yeah.
When I started building the leadership team, I was also really intentional about hiring people that had the same like vision and goals as us.
Yeah.
We want to build a product that values the players, that values women's sports. We want something that's equal to or better than, the male sports teams in LA. And we want something that was really driven with and for community. So, having leadership that was values aligned, but didn't let anybody limit them. Like, we didn't want anyone to come in and say, this doesn't work in sports. We tried this, it didn't work. Karen and I had to paint a vision of where we wanted to be, and they had to say, we're on it. They don't have to explain how they're going to get there. They may not know, but the belief was there. And so Jess Smith, who came in from the NHL, like not a top team, but understanding what was possible and believing that our narrative is so different and building with community, launching the Angel City 10% sponsorship model, giving money back to the community before we've proven a business model or even, made money, was an intentional hire. And she took it to heart. Like, we're going to lead in revenue, and we're going to lead in impact. And so we're not going to sacrifice one for the other. Bringing Catherine Davila to head up community. When I interviewed Catherine, I didn't even know what role it was for, right? But she ran an adult league. She was part of a co-ed league. She was a producer.
She had built community.
Yeah, she built community. She built content. And after talking to her and hearing her passion for the sport, it's like, you're going to head community and we're going to figure this out. She's like, well, what does that mean? I'm like, I want every youth club, every adult club, every affinity group, every organization to know that Angel City is coming, to know what we stand for, and then to want to become part of our community. Go. And she's like, I got it. And that was it. Jen Pransky came from Fox. She's done all the World Cups and every major sporting event. Like, we want to create the highest quality content. We want our content to be beautiful and exciting and engaging. And people say, hold on, what is this club? And she took that, to a level that was, beyond. I think our walkout videos still are better than everybody's in the league.
She's done an amazing job. Remember when she got mad at us?
Oh, yes, I do. And then Steph Rudnick, our first hire was Steph Rudnick, head of PR and comms. Like, there is nobody better. How do you tell a story? How do you position a story? Who do you tell that story to? Why is Just Women's Sports going to care about Angel City? Why is People Magazine going to care about Angel City? And making sure that we tell the right part of our story to the right audience segment. So we built the most exceptional leadership team that had such high expectations from us, but then from themselves, because we all knew if we did this right, we would forever change the trajectory of women's sports, period.
Yeah.
And to your first question, we never thought that we would fail. We just built the club the way that we wanted to experience it, as powerful, strong, smart, successful, sports-loving women. What did we want? And we built that product.
I mean, that's sick. You hired an amazing group of women, of people to build this club. And I feel lucky I've gotten to know a lot of them. How did you do that? It's not easy to hire. Like, how did you think about that? How did you approach that?
It's not easy. I think it's different based on the stage of your company, right? Someone who's great in a startup is not necessarily good when you get to the 100 plus, which is one of the reasons I've moved on from being the CEO, because I love the building part. I love knowing only 80% of how I'm going to figure something else out. And it's the passion, enthusiasm, the teamwork that's going to get you the rest of the way. But when I interviewed every one of them, there is a level of like passion and self-motivation and drive that you see. They're not selling you. You're not being sold. And it sounds maybe cheesy, but like, they're speaking from the heart. Like, I'm really good at this.
Yeah.
And this is what I can do. And if I don't know how to do it, I'm going to figure it out. And because we had a ticking clock, which is, April 28th, 2022, we didn't have time to double guess each other, to check each other's work, so it was, here's what I need you to do. And go do it. Go.
Yeah.
And when they would come back, it was better than, it was always better than I ever anticipated.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have to chase anyone, which allowed us to do so much more because we were all doing our job. And in a startup, you rely on yourself. You don't rely on a team of people, and you don't rely on a ton of money. You find a way to get it done. And that's what we did. And I think the other part for us was, a lot of times you're building a product, in stealth and in quiet, and then you're launching it. And you're like, okay, how did it go? Did we make money? Did we get fans? Did we get clicks? But for us, everything we did, we saw the results of what we were doing along the way.
Yeah, you built in public.
Right. Yeah. And so we'd go out and meet people, and then we'd throw an event and they would come. And then we would throw another event and they would come.
It was validating.
And we'd post something and people would follow it and retweet it. So we did have that validation along the way. The first day where it was truly like, oh my God. So July 1st is Angel City Day in Los Angeles. So July 1st, 2021 is when we announced our colors and our crest. And we had a big event down at BMO Stadium in the Northeast entrance. And we had a DJ and photo stations. We did the whole thing. Angela Hookley's-Mangana, our first head of operations, who became a sporting director, like tattooed the Angel City logo on the back of her hair. I think we had 3,000 people.
Yeah, that's all.
I mean, to put that in perspective,
that's bigger
I don't think
than
the average
crowds.
attendance at NWSL was that high.
Yeah.
I'm being a little facetious, but like
it was
not
around
by
there.
much.
Yeah.
And that was just to welcome a club where we still hadn't announced Kristen Press yet.
That's for you, Julie. They were coming for you.
I was there, and it was amazing. And I think the second time was, the home opener. Like we had no idea. Like we saw the ticket sales, right? And we're like, this is all tracking and it's going to be a sellout and this is amazing. But when we got there and we went to the Fan Fest and there were like 4,000 or 5,000 people in the Fan Fest hours before the match. We had a red carpet for our first game and you got Abby and Billie Jean King and Jen and like Ryan Khalil.
Incredible.
It was surreal, right? It's like, it's one of those things, like you said, you were going to do something.
You guys did it.
We won our home opener 2-1 against North Carolina.
That was just vibes carrying you through.
Oh, we had 9 minutes of stoppage time.
Yeah.
That's when my hatred of stoppage time began. It was sort of exceptional, and that feeling of like wanting to continue to create that. We talked about our first game being the greatest show on earth. So we got into a room. So many people on the team had never done sports before.
Right.
And a majority of the team, except for really Jess and our head of operations, Monica, we'd never done the sporting game before. So like we didn't know what game day was. And if you remember in 2022, because of COVID, the league started with the Challenge Cup. So we had the Challenge Cup games before the league started, and we played in Cal State Fullerton. And we were intentional about making sure that experience was not the first match experience at BMO Stadium. So we didn't do the same things, and it was also a smaller stadium. But we were spending time thinking about that. And Monica was like, when are we going to talk about the home opener? I was like, what are you talking about? We've just done 2 games. And we finally get in the room and she starts going through the punch list of what actually happens in a game, which I'd never been through. And it was pages. And we were all scared because we're like, oh my God, we really have not thought of this. And when it was done, I got up and I wrote Greatest Show on Earth on the whiteboard. And Monica jumped up and erased it. What are you doing? And we're also being filmed for our documentary at that time, right? So she doesn't want that on the screen. And I put it back. I'm like, no, this is our North Star. This is where we start. We start Angel City with the greatest show on earth. And that became like a non-negotiable at Angel City. Every game is somebody's first game. There's an experience for everyone. There's a price point for everyone. And every game is better than the game before. That's how we keep the standards high.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much there. And I feel like hearing that story, I'm like, let's go.
Okay, I'm going to be real. Just Women Sports would not be here today if we were constantly worrying about managing HR. Justworks handles payroll, benefits, and hiring, so my team and I can stay locked in on covering women's sports. The majority of small business owners say HR steals their focus from actually managing their business. That's why we trust Justworks, because you don't have to worry when it just works.
You guys rallied around this North Star of greatest show on earth and every game better than the last. Like, I love that. I mean, it's just interesting when you like talk to people who have been managing teams. It's like the operating principles, I feel like, are often very simple. That's what I heard from you and all that, of like very simple concept that goes really, really far and obviously has had a huge impact. We talked about this great moment, but can you share maybe your kind of back up against the wall? I'm not sure this is going to work. I know we have had plenty of those in our early days. I am sure you guys have had those early days of Angel City. Anything on that you can share?
The biggest challenges we've had have always been when our values have been challenged or threatened. When we have a player that comes out against the LGBTQ community. When we have an owner whose values don't align with the club. What do? When a massive political event happens in the world and, if you don't say anything, you're complicit. And if you do say something, you're likely not to get it right. And because we have such a diverse fan base intentionally, those types of things will draw attention, both positive and negative. And how do we stay true to the fact that we're a football club and like it's really just about scoring goals and let's win and have a good time, but also say, look, we're more than that. We've built this club to drive to equity, to draw attention to gender equity, pay equity, visibility equity for women. And when things in the world challenge that, we recognize the power of our platform and the power of our voice and feel the need to leverage that platform and to be okay with what happens after that. And so we've definitely had some challenging moments. There's things people don't know and there's things we can't share. And but we always strive and intend to do it the best way we possibly can and continue to learn and evolve. And then there's moments where it lands and it lands really well. And when we had the ICE raids in downtown LA and we wanted to support our community and we wanted to show up with our immigrant community because, we very honestly accept and share that like we're a team of immigrants, we're a club of immigrants, we're a city of immigrants, and we stand with you and we're going to support you. And we launched Angel City Football Club and made a statement and were vocal and one of only 2 clubs in LA that really spoke about it at the time, understanding how challenging that was and made the conscious decision that we're going to. That's when it feels really good. But you can't always pick the time when it's going to be really good, and you have to be true to your values. And you get moments like that, and you get moments where maybe we don't do it perfectly, but I think it makes us human, and I hope that it makes people want to support us even more because they see that we're trying and that we are true when we say we're going to live our values.
That's the hard part of women's sports, I think, in general, because we're fighting for the sport and the on-field product, on-court product. Want to focus on that and have it be really fun. But we all recognize this is bigger. That is a tricky thing about where women's sports is. Were you guys, as you were building, did you have any sort of internal, really tough calls?
In the early days, honestly, no. And I always talk about the fact that in the first 2 years, we had a really small team.
Yeah.
I mean, we launched right before we launched, we didn't have more than like 15 people. It was really small. I always say that it was like we were in one boat rowing together.
Yeah. What you want at an early stage startup.
Right. And then as we got a little bit bigger, we were in multiple boats and we were still rowing in the same direction. And then when you get bigger, now that's where you need more structure, you need more process, you need more communication.
What stage was that at? How big were you guys?
We got to like about 24, so like in our second year. But from the moment we announced in 2020 till probably the end of 23, everything we did was still a first. And so when you're doing firsts, it is all together. It's when you're doing it for the second time and the third time and the fourth time, right? And you're getting into your third season and your fourth season and you're onto your second coach or you're onto your next set of players. Now there's pattern recognition. You've done it once before. You know how to do it. But in the early days, we were all doing things together. And so my management style was to talk about what it was we're doing, make a decision and go, right? And so we were all on board, or we sort of, you debate and then you accept, right? And that worked for us really well, even in the boardroom, right? Here's your strategy for the year. Here's your financials for the year. Like we did a very good job of beating our numbers and delivering on our strategy. So we felt positive about the direction that we were taking the company.
There was a lot of positive, but there's also was, pretty public board tension. Can you share what happened with Alexis?
Oh, Alexis. I think Karen and I would all agree that we're super grateful for him believing in our vision. Angel City was the first investment he made in women's football, and he was both inspired by his experience at, I think, at the quarterfinals of the 2019 World Cup, to see the passion, enthusiasm for women's football, to see what's possible, to have a relationship with Alex Morgan, who was consistent about like, this should be bigger than it is. And then, we hit him at the right time with our vision and strategy for Angel City in a market that he loves at Los Angeles. And he was one of our first checks. And I think early on, what was great about our relationship is he really allowed Karen, Natalie, and I to build the club in the vision and the strategy that we shared. We wanted to build an organization where we could use sport and entertainment to drive to equity. We wanted to build a global brand. We wanted to give back to the community, and we wanted to build an experience that was unparalleled. We wanted to build this greatest show on earth, recreate the Showtime era of the 1980s Lakers, where you would go to a match either to see Jack Nicholson and who he brought to the game, or you wanted to see Magic Johnson play. And we were all aligned, and we built and did, and we achieved all that. We overachieved on every single one of those metrics. I think as Angel City grew, what his vision and what he wanted for women's sports and maybe even Angel City differed from mine, Kara, and Natalie's perspective and the board's perspective. And that happens. And Kara would always talk about how, tension in a boardroom is good and conflict in a boardroom is good because you get to resolution and hopefully you get to a better place. At some point it becomes unproductive when the founders and the board want to do one thing and, he wants to do something else. I would say objectively, looking at Angel City outside in, we did a pretty good job. We sold, control of Angel City at the highest value of any women's club in the world and in the shortest amount of time. $250 million valuation from a $2 million expansion from very little investment. And we did that not based on a revenue multiple. We did that based on real sponsorship revenue, 8-figure sponsorship revenue, 8-figure ticketing revenue, over $2 million in merchandise revenue, in the most number of supporter groups of 6, in the highest attendance every year for the first 3 years. And if you said, well, you could have done better, okay,
sure.
But also
he did pretty well.
Highest revenue, highest attendance, 6 sellouts a year, 50% of our games were sellouts, $250 million valuation. It's pretty exceptional.
It went pretty well, yeah.
Right? So you sort of look at that and then you also think about, also equally important, team satisfaction, club satisfaction, community engagement. It was all really high and supportive. We always have our bumps in the road, but generally speaking, we built something exceptional. We all wish it was better. And I think at some point when philosophies and strategies differ so much, there should be honest about a change. Either we go or you go, but that constant tension isn't helpful. It doesn't help the business. Fortunately, we were able to keep that a couple hours every quarter and continue to build the company. And, fortunate that we had the support of the board and our community and our players and our club to build something exceptional. So, that time was tough, but it really didn't impact what we built. And what we built, candidly, has changed the trajectory of women's sports.
Totally. He, on the Front Office Sports podcast, said it was a terrible idea, the way that you guys had structured his investment.
Yeah.
Do you think it came down to that the way the relationship was set up?
We structured Angel City as a startup where we would raise money as we go. And it was founder-led and founder-controlled. When Karen, Natalie, and I originally went to raise money, that was not how it was structured. We were looking for a single owner who would own 80% of it, 90%, because that's how sports teams were built. And so we were trying to build Angel City and raise money in the traditional way that sports teams were built. You know what happened? 100 no's. Because nobody believed in women's sports. Nobody believed in what we were building. Nobody believed that you could build a company with impact and profit at its core that could drive to equity, but also win a win championship rings. Every single person said no. Every person said no. When we changed the strategy and said, you know what? Nobody's going to believe in women's sports more than us. Nobody's going to work harder. And by the way, when you start a company, you bet on the founders and you want them to have ownership and equity. The difference between success and failure is truly the sweat equity and the work that these founders are going to take. And so we said, you know what? No one is going to believe in it more than us. So we are now changing our strategy. Come along with us. Come along with us. And when in doing so, you get to write a much smaller check.
Right.
And that's what he bought into. He bought into a founder. So that was how we built it from day one. And by the way, because we built it that way, we got this incredible ownership group that is 100 deep. I wish it was 200 deep because I can go through that ownership list and tell you something that every single one of those owners have done. Every single one, outside of writing a check. From the community involvement to how they leveraged their platform and voice, to the events they attended, to the sponsorship pitches that they joined us for, every single owner has contributed to the growth of Angel City. And my ability to manage them was easy because they said, Julie, how can we help?
Yeah.
I would do it over again. Abby, Mia, Billie Jean King, Lindsey Vaughn, Ryan Khalil, Kobe Jones, Sophia Bush, Lily Singh. We never would have had this kind of ownership group if we built it differently. Angel City would not be as successful as it is without the way we built it, and women's sports would not look the way it does. And the number of athlete and female athlete investors today in sport, I don't think would happen if it wasn't for Angel City.
No, you guys broke that up.
Before us, there was Naomi Osaka, who invested in North Carolina. And yes, Serena Williams, I think, is invested in the Miami Dolphins, but nobody talked about it.
Right.
But after Angel City, it's hold on a second. I can invest in sports and I have value as an owner in a sports team. It never would have happened. So no, I don't agree with him at all. Despite how we raised the money, like every other company, we had a board and we still have a board and the board makes decisions and every decision was majority. And we moved forward and made those decisions, which again resulted in the most valuable club in the world, the club that has changed women's sports forever. So I don't agree. I do think, though, if you're someone who is passionate and is convinced of women's sports and feel like you have a lot to offer and feel that your contributions will be consistent enough and valuable enough to drive meaningful returns, be a control owner. But if you don't have that level of conviction and that experience and that passion, then don't be one. And day one of Angel City in 2019, there were only 3 people in the entire world that Kara and I talked to that had that level of passion, vision, and conviction. And conviction is the most important thing. And it was Kara, Natalie, and I. So we bet on ourselves and they bet on us. And that's how Angel City is successful.
If you were starting a new team today, would you set it up that way?
I would bet on myself. If I want to build something for someone else, I'll join their startup. I want to bet on me.
This whole situation resulted in you guys selling to Bob Iger and Willow Bay. How do you feel about the new ownership?
I'm really pleased with where Angel City is today. Bob and Willow bring obviously a wealth of experience and context and success. I mean, Disney.
Right.
I don't think I need,
yeah.
there's no, I
I've
just
heard
put a
of
period,
it.
I just
Yeah.
put a period after that. And Willow, what she's built and developed at USC Annenberg School, how she knows how to build community and build a product and speak about a product is exceptional. And they came in with a real commitment and said, you've done exceptional on the business side. Like, we're going to overinvest on the sporting side. We're going to leapfrog. We're going to get to where we need to be. And then we're going to lead. And that was something that we really needed. And for them to see that that was the need, underneath Bob and Willow, we launched our performance center. It's the largest and best in the NWSL. It's exceptional. It creates this high performance environment where our players can walk in every single day and focus on one thing and one thing only, and that's improving. And that's because of Bob and Willow. When Kristen joined, it's like, okay, we have not only do we have one of the best players in the world, but she has performed at the highest level in the US soccer's environment. So she's going to bring that high performance environment and culture and learnings to Angel City. So for my first couple of years, it's like, Kristen, how are we doing? But she did say at one point, Julie, at some point, like, I don't want to have to be the person to tell you this anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the one that's holding the standard. Like, when I go into camp, I just walk in, I don't have to do anything. Everything's taken care of for me. And I just have to be an athlete. She's like, and that's what I want for Angel City. And, by the time Kristen retired and Allie Rad retired, and it was, again, at the conclusion of the first year of Bob and Willow's ownership, I feel like we got there.
Yeah, that's a really big deal. What was it like having a boss after running this club, your club, your way for so long? And now what's it like sort of not outside, but more outside looking in?
I think about what Mark Cuban talks about when he talks about selling the Dallas Mavericks, right? Because they always bring it up because the valuations in the NBA have grown so much. And they always say, do you regret it? And he's like, I don't regret selling it. I regret who I sold it to. And I don't feel that way.
I feel like a lot of founders regret selling and regret who they sell it to. Like, I feel like you guys not having that feeling, that's a really big deal.
Yeah.
In the best way.
Yeah. I mean, look, we built something exceptional in a really short period of time and we drove exceptional value of it. It's going to take nuance. It's going to take more innovation, more creativity, more pattern recognition to get from 50 million or wherever we are today to $1 billion. And you want to bring that additional expertise and that additional relationships and vision. And there's nobody in the world like Bob Iger and Willow Bay. So they're going to help us get there. And that's going to benefit our owners and our players and our community and our staff. So it was the right time.
It was the right thing at the right time. So what are you up to now?
I'm surprisingly busy. I have a wedding in 2 weeks. So that has taken up most of my time, which I'm pleased to say.
Shout out Lisa. We're excited.
Very excited. I'm loving this heat wave in Europe. She's Irish, so we're getting married in Ireland. So
it's going to be beautiful.
It's going to be amazing. So that's taking up a lot of time. I'm spending a lot of time on both women's sports, but some emerging leagues as well, where I can provide the most value. Look, Angel City is not an anomaly, and we don't want it to be an anomaly.
Yeah.
Like, we need Angel Cities
to be like
around the
blueprint.
world.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so where can I do that? Where can I add the most value? So I'm having a lot of conversations, and I'll announce something soon. So we'll just changed a lot, which is surprising to say. I mean, we went from having to convince people that women's sports is valuable and investable to today, no one questions that.
Yeah, people get it. That's a really big shift. Yeah.
And we went from very few sponsors, and I call out Andy Bremer and Ally, like one of the first. Very few brands to believe in women's sports to make a bet, to a ton of brands believing in women's sports. We went from having a few properties where I think sponsors felt like they could truly derive the value that they want from those bets in Angel City, Las Vegas Aces, Just Women's Sports.
Thank you.
You're welcome. To having your choice between clubs, teams, emerging leagues, players.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
so I think we have new challenges today.
There's
that we
more
did.
money, but there's also way more places to put it.
Arguably less money to individual places, which can have less impact. So now you have to work even harder. So maybe it's not 15 sponsors per team. Maybe you actually need to get to 30 or 40, but that requires a bigger team, which means a bigger investment, bigger costs for the. So these are all great things. But I think the one thing that women's sports struggles with is somehow we have to make money faster than men. Somehow we have to deliver faster than men. But building takes time. Angel City's only 5 years young as it relates to playing on the pitch. Like we're just going through our first renewals. All the numbers are in the right direction. All statistics are great, but it doesn't mean it's easy.
Early days, as you said, right? It was like we were fighting, having to prove all this, look at how many people are showing up to games, look at the engagement, look at all this. And I feel like there's been so much progress, but that we're still fighting because now it's what you said. There are more dollars, but there are more places and there's more competition. And I feel like we're still in this space where,
Yes, there has been a ton of growth, but we are still, to use your words earlier, like it's still a lot of leading indicators. And I think that's really exciting
because all those indicators are great, but I still feel like there is a lot of white space in front of us in sort of the best way possible.
Talk about Deloitte's report, right? Women's sports is going to grow to $3 billion
This year.
revenue. Yeah. It was $2.5 billion last year. It's going to grow to $3 billion. That's amazing. That's almost mind blowing. If like 5 years ago, we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Right.
Do you
And
know what
also,
men's sports is?
Yeah, it's like 2% of the men's sports market, right?
It's like 450 billion.
Yeah.
So it's great. And we still have a long way to go.
Yeah.
And if you look at the viewership growth, if you look at sponsorship growth, if you look at retention, if you look at returns, it's higher on the women's side. If you think about content creation, who are the better content creators? Women. If you look at the Olympics, who's followed more? Women athletes. If you look at fan growth, there are 500 million women sports fans today. In 5 years, they're saying it's going to 800 million. So like that 3 billion should grow exponentially. And you should be making your bets now because it's cheaper. It's cheaper today to make a bet on us. So spend more today, lock it in, and you're winning. And people need to start thinking that way.
Totally. So thank you, Justworks, for sponsoring this podcast.
Thank you, Justworks.
Okay, 3 closing questions. These are 3 rapid fire questions I'm asking every guest. So 1, what's your boldest women's sports prediction for the next 5 years?
Multiple teams be worth over $1 billion.
Oh, I love
in
that.
Different leagues.
I think that's like for sure. 2, who's a leader in women's sports who you think doesn't get the credit they deserve?
Michelle King. And I say that because she does get a lot of credit, but anytime anyone's successful, they want to knock them down. And what Michelle is doing is growing women's sports by making intentional investments and valuing her clubs and her players and allowing the business model to catch up. And people think that that's ruining the sport. But she's actually valuing her athletes, she's valuing her fans, and she's valuing her clubs and building the business around it, which is exactly what Angel City did. And that should be commended.
Totally. Michelle, she was my answer too for this. She's an early investor in Just Women's Sports. And I feel like she's sort of like everyone knows her name, but I don't think everyone fully understands the impact she's had on this space and what she has done for individuals, companies, teams. Like she deserves every ounce of credit she gets and more. So I totally agree with you.
To be clear, she's investing her own money.
Yeah, it's
Like,
her
this isn't
money.
a
She's
fund.
literally putting her
Right.
money where her mouth
And
is.
I know you asked for one, but in the world of like who is truly driving women's sports from an investment standpoint, valuing the product, you should add Angie Long to that list, who owns the Kansas City Current. You should add Jen McAsee to the list, who is an investor in Gotham FC and Chelsea FC and built and launched World Sevens football and is a supporter of U.S. soccer and the U.S. women's national team. These are 3 exceptional women that are valuing women's sports and investing to the level that it deserves and waiting for the business model to catch up.
And I think it will. I think you're going to see a huge return. And last but not least, if you could trade places with anyone in this space for a day, who would it be? Would it be a player?
No. God, no. I'd have to run like 7 miles on a game. If I could trade places with anyone, honestly, I would trade places with Kevin Demoff. He is the CEO and president of the LA Rams. He oversees all of sporting for Stan Kroenke. He oversees Arsenal and Arsenal women. He's an exceptional leader. What Kevin has built and Stan has built is exceptional. I think Stan's some insane majority of his teams have all won.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see who they've hired, how they've built, how they've run a team, what their day looks like, because I think I could learn a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Julie, thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for having me. Super fun.
This is fun.
Thanks for doing the playbook.
Thanks for being on the Playbook.